I'm Susan Mintz, and welcome to my YouTube channel. We are going to find out so much about so much that your ears will be on fire. Jeffrey was, of course, my first love, I think, because I was 11. And I don't think you can have a lot of love before you're 11 in the physical sense. But I knew mentally, I just knew every part of me that he was going to be my friend. We went all through grammar school together, high school, college, and it was just incredible because no matter how bad the times got him, I was with so many different guys and he would be different girls and we'd meet up at different times on weekends. There was a bond. It's like my mother always could tell when I was talking to him because we'd laugh. We'd talk on the phone and laugh, and we just had a friendship that extended from time we were 11 until the time I was 22, and we ended up having to get married. And that was a choice we had to make because I got pregnant by my best friend. And now we're talking 1969. That's a whole different issue than it is today, though in some ways it's pretty relative to what's happening in our political spectrum today. But no, I knew Jeffrey would be a part of my life. I just didn't expect to get pregnant by him and have a baby, and not have a baby because I didn't have the baby. I had a miscarriage a week after we got married. So figure that one out. A week after you get married to your best friend, who you've slept with for a lot of different men, and then you get pregnant by your best friend, and he ends up, you get married, it's a small town, and a week later on his birthday, I'm giving him a birthday party, I start miscarrying. Now, that doesn't happen to just everybody. It happened to me, and we made a choice. I had a miscarriage on a Saturday. I went back to the VA hospital to work as a dental hygienist. He went back to school going on his master's, and we chose to stay married. Now, that's love. When I think about the miscarriage and Jeffrey and the situation being in a small town, I mean, the same gynecologist took care of my in-laws, my parents, and me. I mean, you didn't go very far where everybody knew each other. Yes. In fact, we tried several routes. I would have definitely have gotten an abortion because neither was I ready to get married, nor was Jeffrey. We were young, we had experience, but the situation wouldn't have warranted that we'd had a child. It just wouldn't have been not only timely, but it wouldn't have been for us, especially then. So yes, if abortion had been legal, I would have gone anywhere to have gotten one, but it wasn't. In fact, I even called Puerto Rico because I knew the mayor in San Juan, having gone there a few times. I knew the mayor in San Juan personally. I called Puerto Rico and asked if the mayor, who knew all the people, couldn't get an abortion. Of course, that didn't work out either. So ultimately, we got married, and I did have a miscarriage. And if I hadn't had the miscarriage, I would have been a great mom, and he would have been a great dad, because we really would have been great parents. And I know that for sure. We weren't meant to have any children, but had we had that child would have grown up to be fantastically successful, and he would have been happy with both his mom and dad, no matter what we did. People ask me all the time about, did I know that Jeffrey was bisexual or a homosexual through high school or college? And I look at them and I'd say, absolutely not. He was the handsomest, most charming. He was every father's son and every mother's child. And I've always said that. No, he would be the last man in the world I would ever have thought had any tendencies or proclivity toward being gay or bisexual. And how I did find out, and it wasn't until my honeymoon. Now, this will be another wonderful thing for you to find out about me. Not only did I have the miscarriage on the week after we got married, but then on my honeymoon, 4 months later, in Spain, he tells me he thinks he might be bisexual because he's had some relationships with men in college. Well, that's a lot for someone 22 to take in, and I realized then, after we cried, yelled, screamed, kicked, and fell asleep in each other's arms, hysterically exhausted, that this would be the challenge I'd have to face, maybe for a while. And how to deal with it, didn't have a clue. But again, our love just kept going. But no, my Jeffrey was everything anybody could want. Well, maybe that's why he was gay, is because everybody wanted him. Men wanted him, women wanted him, mothers, fathers. You know, a lot of people ask me this question too. They say, did you know his partners? Well, I'd say, well, when we were in Gainesville, when he was going for his doctorate, yeah, a few. Did you know him when you were in Houston? and he was setting up his practice, and you lived in the middle of Montrose, which is an incredible artsy area of Houston, and he was going out a few nights a week and then bringing them home because they all liked me too, and he wanted me to become very comfortable with his partners for whatever reason, because I never went with any of them. But yes, did I know his partners? Yes. Did the couple I didn't want to know, I ended up getting rid of real quick by threatening to do something to them. So we were able to get rid of some of the partners without a problem. But I knew many, especially his special love, who I know when he became ill. That's when I knew that Jeffrey was really looking down the face of a 45 that was loaded. So I knew, and then even in Boca, a couple that were we moved to Boca in 85 to when he passed in 94, and yes, I knew a couple of them here too. They were in Houston, he could fly back and forth. But did I know most of his partners? Yes. Did they know he would never have left me? Yes. Did they like me and respect me and love me because I would never have left him and because I loved him and sacrificed a tremendous amount of emotional issue. I mean, I dealt with so many issues, and I would do it again. He was just great. And I certainly wouldn't have stayed with him all these years if he wasn't, because Lord knows I'm not the easiest person in the world to be with, but that's another story. How we doing?
Perfect.
Getting good stuff?
Yeah, this is good.
How are we doing, YouTube? Are you getting some good information? Remember the book, Committed to Love, got to be made into a mega hit, multi-million-dollar movie coming in. Sandra Bullock, we're ready for you. We're ready for you to get your next Academy Award since The Blind Side, and I mean that. You have got to make this movie. You can produce it, direct it, and star in it, but since The Blind Side, you have not made a significant movie that could win awards